Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Text
Ravilochana Prabhu.
71.
Ravilochana Prabhu, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can hear you.
Hear the lecture?
Mursha.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay.
It's clear, Prabhu. It is stopped now. Prabhu, it is stopped now.
Yeah, just stopped. Just two of us only. Nobody has joined. So just.
Okay, Prabhu. It's clear.
We'll wait for 1 more minute.
Sure, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. We'll have today His Holiness Prabodhananda Swami Maharaj speaking on Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 29th chapter, 71st verse. So we'll play the telecast now. Hare Krishna.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 29. The chapter entitled Talks Between Narada and King Prachinavahi. Text 71. Supti Murcha Upatapeshu Pranayana Vighatatah Nehate Aham Iti Jnanam Mrityu Prajwarayor Api Supti Murchoh Patapeshu Pranayana Vighatatah नेहते अहम् इति ज्ञानम् मृत्यु प्रज्वारयोरपि सुप्तिमूर्च्छोपतापेषु प्राणायानो विघाततः नेहते अहम् इति ज्ञानम् मृत्युः प्रज्वारयोरपि सुप्तिमूर्च्छोपतापेषु प्राणायान विघाततः नेहते अहम् इति ज्ञानम् मृत्युः प्रज्वारयोरपि word meaning supti in deep sleep murcha fainting upatapesu or in great shock pranayana of the movement of the life air vighatatah from prevention not ihate thinks of aham I iti thus jnanam knowledge mrityuh while dying prajvarayoh or during high fever api also. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When the living entity is in deep sleep, when he faints, when there is some great shock on account of severe loss, at the time of death, or when the body temperature is very high, the movement of the life air is arrested. At that time, the living entity loses knowledge of identifying the body with the self. Purport. Foolish people deny the existence of the soul, but it is a fact that when we sleep, we forget the identity of the material body, and when we awake, we forget the identity of the subtle body. In other words, while sleeping, we forget the activities of the gross body, and when active in the gross body, we forget the activities of sleeping or subtle body. Actually, both states, sleeping and waking, are creation of the illusory energy. The living entity actually has no connection with either the activities of the sleep or the activities of the so-called wakened state. When a person is in deep sleep or when he has fainted, he forgets his gross body. Similarly, under chloroform or some other anesthetic, the living entity forgets his gross body and does not feel pain or pleasure during a surgical operation. Similarly, when a man is suddenly shocked by some great loss, he forgets his identification with the gross body. At the time of death, when the temperature of the body rises to 107 degrees, the living entity falls into a coma and is unable to identify his gross body. In such cases, the life air that moves within the body is choked up, and the living entity forgets his identification with the gross body. Because of our ignorance of the spiritual body, of which we have no experience, we do not know of the activities of the spiritual body, and in ignorance we jump from one false platform to another. We act sometimes in relation to the gross body and sometimes in relation to the subtle body. If by Krishna's grace one act in our spiritual body, we can transcend both the gross and subtle bodies. In other words, we can gradually train ourselves to act in terms of spiritual body. As stated in the Narada Pancharatra, Hishikena Hishikesa Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. Devotional service means engaging the spiritual body and spiritual senses in the service of the Lord. When we are engaged in such activities, the actions and reactions of the gross and subtle bodies cease. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Sailakaya Chakhyurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurubhe Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Nitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakha Nitangscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vibhavano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Supti murcha patapesu pranayana vighatatah nehate aham iti jnanam mrityu prajvara yorapihi. When the living entity is in deep sleep, when he faints, when there is some great shock on account of severe loss, at the time of death, or when the body temperature is very high, the movement of life air is arrested. At that time, the living entity loses knowledge of identifying the body with the self. So, from yesterday's verse, we have heard about two types of body, gross body and subtle body. But here is in this verse, there is explanation is giving about another type of body. Prabhupada gave in purport, discuss about spiritual body. We have experience about gross body and subtle body. That is as Prabhupada explained in purport. When we are in awake, then now we are in which experience? Gross body. So when we sleep, then we are in experience of subtle body. But what is about spiritual body? How can we experience spiritual body? Which body is real? Gross body is real, subtle body is real, or spiritual body is real? That's why when Sanatana Goswami asked the question to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ke ami, kene amai, jare tapatray. E ami na jani kemane hita hai. How can real benefit will happen to my life? I don't know who am I, and why I am suffering in these threefold miseries. So, to that purport, to that verse, Jai Sri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada gave the purport. Here is Sanatana Goswami is telling that I am neither this gross body nor subtle body. When Prabhupada, when Sanatana Goswami is asking, Ke ami, kene amai, jare tapatra, ke ami, then he is telling I am not, that means he is asking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am not this material body, that is gross body, nor I am subtle body. Who am I? That means he is asking the question about spiritual body. Who am I? When we ask, who am I, that doesn't mean about gross body or subtle body. When a disciple asks seriously to a spiritual master this question, then he is asking about spiritual body. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave answer. Jiver Swarup hai, Krishna Nitya Das. Eternal servant of Krishna. But that is very broad answer. Jiver Swarup hai, Krishna Nitya Das. Eternal servant of Krishna. But what type of servant? How can we know what type of servant? In Ragavatma Chandrika, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one can know his spiritual body as his Swarup, either by from his Diksha Guru or from a very advanced devotee who is a Siksha Guru, who is in Paramahansa stage, or by Paramatma himself from within. He will tell you. When you are qualified, then Paramatma will guide you and tell you who are you, what is your identity, or what is your spiritual body, what is your connection with Krishna, in which rasa and which particular service you are connected to Krishna. So, when Prabhupada narrated the nice story, when Prabhupada was here some Western devotees or his disciples are here. So some other one disciple went for Govardhana Parikrama, and after doing Parikrama, he was sitting in bank of Radhakund chanting his rounds. Then suddenly one Babaji Maharaj approached him and told, do you know about your Swarup? Who are you? What is your spiritual body? He told, no, I don't know. My Guru, your Guru did not tell you. I know what is your spiritual body. Who are you? What is your Swarup? I am looking. By looking you, I can tell. Now I am seeing you are a peacock in Gologuru Navan. In Krishna's pastime, you are a peacock. I am seeing your spiritual body. Because I am a Paramahansa, so I am seeing your spiritual body. Babaji Maharaj told him, you are a peacock. So because you have forgotten about this, your spiritual body, now you go and start practicing in your room. Close the room, and every morning you should start dancing like a peacock. You should see, you plan that I am now in front of Radha and Krishna is sitting, and you just, then I am just, for pleasure of Radha Krishna, I am dancing like I am a peacock, I am dancing. Practice this every day. Then gradually you realize and you will come to that platform. When you leave this body, then you get your Gradually this body will go, then you get your spiritual form as a peacock in Radha Krishna's pastime. So he believed, he has simple mind. Then he come and then he closed it every day. And in Brahmacharya ashram he closed the room, and inside room he not come for chanting in the morning. Before he was coming and chanting. But when Babaji Maharaj told him like that, then he closed his room and every day started. And in between also Babaji Maharaj told you should try to also to what? To make sound like peacock. Keka, keka. Sometimes he was making sound and he closing the room and he is practicing how to dance like peacock and making noise. So all the brahmacharis thought, what happened to this guy? He is no more coming for chanting his round. And after Mangalar, then he is closing his room inside and doing something. Somehow or other, they try to see from the window and saw what he is doing. He is starting like behaving like his neck like this, like peacock, dancing. And sometimes he is making sound. Everyone thought this person become what? Crazy, mad. So they informed Prabhupada. Prabhupada told, bring him here. So they knock his door heavily. He was somehow he opened. Then he told Prabhupada, asking you, come. Forcefully they bring him to Prabhupada. Prabhupada told, what are you doing? Closing the room, you are not chanting in the morning hour? He told, I went to Govardhan Parikrama. Then Babaji Maharaj told, reveal my Swarup, my spiritual body. Who am I in the spiritual world? What is my seva? He told that Babaji Maharaj could see. He told he is a Paramahansa, and he revealed me that I was peacock in Radha Krishna's pastime. So he advised me to practice now like that, how to serve. How to serve before Radha Krishna, how to dance, how for their pleasure. So that I am practicing. So Prabhupada became very furious. Chastised him like anything. You are a crazy guy. So that is sometimes Sahajiya Abruti. There are so many Sahajiyas. They thought you can just by speculating something, you can know your spiritual body. What is your spiritual Swarup? What is your connection with Radha Krishna? What particular service you are doing? In which rasa you are connected, or what is the particular service that is there is eternal service in spiritual world. And they told that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabuna hai Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karaye Udhay. All of us, we are sitting here, we have some relation with Krishna, no doubt. But when we hear Krishna's pastimes, Janma Karma Lilas, with after attention, then a particular feeling will arise in heart of all devotees. Not same feeling in everyone's heart. Someone feels he want to be like peacock or cow in Krishna's pastime. Someone may feel to become a cowherd boy, or in Vatsalya somewhere in Madhurya. These feelings automatically come, not artificially imposed upon someone. But there is so many Sahajiyas, as Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioned about 13 varieties of Sahajiyas. About 13. Aula, Vaula, Karta, Bhaja, Sakhi, Veki, Chudadhari, Gauranga Nagari, so many. Sakhi, Veki. Besides our ashram, there is ashram also. Sakhi, Veki. Just like we in devotional service, according to Varna ashram, when is the most advanced ashram is sannyas ashram. They gave the sannyas when advanced in devotional service. But they gave the dress up a Sakhi. Sakhi Veki. They told now your spiritual body is like that, so you should dress like this, like a Sakhi. He is a man, in a man body, but he has to dress himself as a woman. Thinking I am a Sakhi or a Manjari in Radha Krishna's pastimes, and then outwardly he has to wear sari and with ornaments, bangles, everything. Sakhi Veki. By dressing himself like a Sakhi, he thinks I can become a Sakhi. These are all Sahajiya Avritis. Gauranga Nagari thinking Gauranga Mahaprabhu is Krishna and we are all Gopis, so we may have a rasa dance, pastimes. So these are all the cheating process. There's so many sahajiyas. They did not know perfectly what is their own swarup, but they just speculate and misguide the other peoples about their spiritual body. So one must be very careful. Though it is our duty to know about our swarup, who am I, ke ami, kene amai jare tapatra, who am I, to ask this question about our spiritual body to spiritual master, that is our duty. But sometimes how to develop our consciousness in that way, that is given by acharyas and teachings of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and Mahaprabhu gave guidance in Upadesamrita. Rupa Goswami is told how in gradual process one can come to the stage, not by just overnight jumping and can understand these things. This is a long process. Adau Saddha, Tata, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivruti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. Unless one come to the Bhava or Prema platform, one cannot realize that spiritual body. What is his spiritual identity? When you come to the platform of Prema, then he can, that is, in that stage, he can realize what is my swarup, what is my duty, that is automatically revealed to him. Rupa Goswami gave so many instructions in Upadesamrita, but his final instruction, that is the topmost instruction, he told, that is the verse 8. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smritya kramena rasana manasi niyojyam tishtan braje tadanuragi jananugami kalam nayed akhilamiti upadesa saram. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Braja Golok Vrindavan Dham and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So one has to act under able guidance of a spiritual master. So how one start chanting, hearing and remembering Krishna? That is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has recommended. And that one who has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness should give up all material motives and train his mind by following the progressive regulatory principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, quality, pastimes, so forth. In this way, after developing a taste for such things, one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastimes and qualities under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. This is the sum and substance of instruction regarding the cultivation of devotional service. A neophyte devotee, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. So, the sadhana process is starting from what? Hearing. Brahmande भ्रमिते कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्ति लता बीज माली हया सही बीज करे आरोपण श्रवण कीर्तन जले करे सेचन. Among lakhs of living entities in 284 species, they are traveling in different way in different species. But one who is very fortunate soul, he get a spiritual master in contact of a pure devotee. Then from him he learn how to chant and hear. In his able guidance, then one started chanting and hearing. So that is here is Prabhupada writing in the purport. Neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravana Dasa. Shravanam. Then Kirtanam, then Smaranam. These three things are most important among 9 processes of devotional service. Hearing, chanting and remembering. The most important process. So, then Prabhupada described how this works. This is called Shravana Dasa, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities and pastimes, one can attain the stage of acceptance called Varana Dasa. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smarana Avastha, the stage of remembering. Then in Smarana Avastha there is 5 stages. Smriti, Anusmriti, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. This is 5 Smarana Avastha, the stage of remembering, recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance and trance. The 5 items of progressive Krishna Smaran. At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals, but later remembrance proceeds uninterrupted. When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called Anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing Anusmriti, one enters the stage of Samadhi or spiritual trance. After Smarana Dasa or Samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. When soul understands his original constitutional position? In stage of Samadhi. At that time he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. That is called Sampati Dasa, the perfection of life. This is perfection of life. To know our Swarup, what is our particular relationship with Krishna, what is our particular seva, in which rasa and which particular seva. This is the Swarupa Siddhi or Vastu Siddhi, what seva, particular seva we have with Krishna. But this is, Prabhupada is giving very nicely, this simple nectar of instruction. But in a gradual process, how we attain this stage. Not by Sahajiya Avriti. Chaitanya Charitamrita advises those who are neophytes to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in the regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the directions of Scripture. In this way, neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna's name, fame, form, qualities and so forth. When one has developed such an attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principles. This stage is called Raganuga Bhakti. That means unless one come to the spontaneous service or Raganuga platform, it is not possible to realize one's Swarup. But Raganuga Bhakti starts from the stage of Ruchi, when we have taste. When you develop taste, then Raganuga Bhakti begins, spontaneous service. So, that is, this stage is called Raganuga Bhakti or devotional service in spontaneous love. At this stage, the devotee can follow in the footstep of one of the eternal associate of Krishna in Vrindavan. This is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti or spontaneous devotional service can be executed in Santarasa when one aspires to be like Krishna's cows, or the stick or flute in the hand of Krishna, or a flower around Krishna's neck, flower garland around Krishna's neck. In the Dasya Rasa, one follow in the footsteps of servants like Chitrak, Patrak and Raktak. In friendly Sakyaras, one can become friend like Baladev, Sridham or Sudama. In the Vatsalya Rasa, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj and Jasoda. And in the Madhurya Rasa, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends, such as Lalita and her serving maids, Manjaris, like Rupa and Rati. This is the essence of all instructions in the matter of devotional service. This is a Prabhupada purport. So, that's why we are in which stage even one can come to the ruchi before after anartha nivritti. Ado Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, then anartha nivritti. We are full of anarthas. Now we are full of anarthas. And if you think now what is my swarup, how it is revealed to us. We have to go such long process. Anartha nivritti, then nishtha and ruchi. In stage of ruchi, a taste. Then we can spontaneously serve Krishna. From that stage, ruchi stage, that is called raganuga bhakti. So first we have to eradicate our anarthas. How to give up anarthas. There is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He explains these anarthas are they many times like a sukriti jata anarthas, duskriti jata anarthas, aparadha jata anarthas, and bhakti jata anarthas. 4 types of anarthas. There is generally sukriti jata and duskriti jata anarthas. They finished with bhajana kriya. In the end of the bhajana kriya, this anarthas gone. They generally they vanquished. Those we are in previous pastimes due to our prarabdhas. Sukriti, duskriti, because of our sinful reaction from past life. Or that is sukriti, sometimes we perform some purnya. So that's why you're supposed to go to heavenly planets or something. But these things can be nullified. The reactions, if someone by the able guidance of a spiritual master starts bhajana kriya, seriously, end of bhajana kriya, this anarthas gone. But specifically this aparadha jata anarthas is very difficult to give up. Unless we are free from anartha, there is no question of understanding your spiritual body. We have so many anarthas, aparadha, naam aparadha, dham aparadha, and Vaishnava aparadha. Vaishnava aparadha is included in naam aparadha, first offenses, Vaishnava aparadha. So we have to go in a long way. First we have to free ourselves from these offenses. Aparadha jata anartha. These are not, they cannot be nullified by the bhajana kriya. By chanting holy name, we cannot eradicate these offenses. Specifically, Vaishnava aparadha, very serious. Out of naam aparadha, there too is Vaishnava aparadha. First is, aparadha is to blaspheme a devotee who have dedicated his life for propagating holy name of the Lord. And third offense, to disobey the orders of spiritual master. Consider him as an ordinary person. These 2 offenses is very serious. Vaishnava aparadha. These both are Vaishnava aparadha. So one has to, we have to give up these offenses. With very seriously, if we will take it very serious. And as Mahaprabhu gave instruction in 3rd verse of Chaitanya in Sikhastakam, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroropi Sahisruna Amanina Amanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. One must be more tolerant than tree and think himself more insignificant than even grass in the street, and not expecting any respect for himself, and always ready to give a respect to others. In such a humble state of mind, one must engage always chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then gradually our anarthas will go away. So, unless we give up these anarthas, aparadha jata and bhakti jata anarthas also, there's so many निषिद्धाचार कुटिनाटी जीवहिंसन पूजामान प्रतिष्ठादि जत उपशाखा गण. These are all bhakti jata anarthas. Mahaprabhu described when instructing Rupa Goswami. labha, puja, pratishtha. These are the last glare of, last limit to cross, anarthas. Nisiddhachara, even we are performing devotional service, but sometimes these four regulative principles we are not following, maybe breaking one some of thing. We think this is Raganuga stage, no need to follow this. This is Nisiddhachara. So sometimes breaking the regulative principles or that is four sinful activities. Jatra papa chaturvidham, Nisiddhacharan. We are behaving like very advanced devotees, but we are breaking one of the regulative principles, somehow or other. Desires. This is not only gross sense, but in subtle sense also, specifically illicit sex desires. This is very difficult to give up. Even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur challenge all the Babajis, those who are consider themselves Paramhansas, all the Navadip Babajis in this ground. When Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj left his body, entered Nityam, then Babajis claimed the body of Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj to take their ashram and put samadhi, because he was a Siddha Baba. Many people will visit Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj samadhi, so they will get much dakshina. But Bhakti Saraswati Thakur told, I am the only disciple of Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj, so I have the claim over the body. I have to take the body and put in samadhi. So they challenge. So they told, no, you are not even Babaji, you are neophyte devotee. Who knows Gaur Krishna? Did not give you Vairagi Bhes. You are not initiated Babaji. Dikhya, you are not Paramahansa, you are neophyte. Okay, you are all Paramahansas. So there is no doubt that Gaur Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj is Paramahansa Vaishnava. But what about all of you? You are all Paramahansas? If you are all Paramahansas, then I am challenging all of you in name of Mahaprabhu and Mother Ganges is here as witness. If you have given up this subtle desire of sex life, you are free from this illicit sex life, illicit desires even 1 month, then you can carry the divine body of my dear divine spiritual master. So Babaji just look at each other. Then 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 15 days, 7 days, 3 days, last night, they left. They all left. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur took the body. So it is not so easy. It's a Nisiddhachara, Kutinati. You understand Kutinati? How to do some politics, to blaspheme someone or someone to degrade someone, to bring someone forward. This is my friend, he must be come to front. Kutinati, Jiva Hingsan, killing the animals, and also sometimes we have knowledge but we don't want to preach. That is also Jiva Hingsan. Kutinati, Jiva Hingsan. Imitating Haridas Thakur, you will sit down in one place and start chanting. That's why Bhakti Saraswati Thakur tell, Dushtaman tumi kisera Vaishnava. Pratisthara bhare, nijara nirjanara ghare tavo harinam kevala kaitava. This is all cheating. Imitating Haridas Thakur, sitting in one place. Thinking I will become very famous like Haridas Thakur also. This is all cheating. Jiva Hingsan, Pujamana Pratishtha. Name, fame, distinction, all these things. So we have to give up all these things. These are all anarthas. We are not free from the anarthas, and how can we know about our spiritual body? Spiritual body will reveal to us, but we must have some qualifications. That's why Acharyas, they gave us the way how to become free from these anarthas. There's 5 types of hindrances in path of giving up our anarthas, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he described in Madhurya Kadambini. If we will attentively hear Krishna Katha, then anarthas will go, and we follow in our practice, then anarthas will go. But we are not able to hearing attentively. First hindrance in path of giving up our anarthas is Chakravarti Thakur is telling, Laya. Laya means one is very nicely dancing, chanting, dancing. When he is dancing ecstatically, that time is okay, he is very nicely dancing, jumping. But when he sit for Bhagavatam class, then sleep. Become more soporific or sleepy in hearing. When sit for class, then he hear. Then when he is sleep in Bhagavatam class, then how he on earth will go? Samaya vahi kevalam. Vishwaksena nautpadayat jadi ruchim. Vishwaksena katha suja nautpadayat jadi rutim. Samaya vahi kevalam. So this is first block, stumbling block in path of giving up on earths. That we are very ecstatic in when chanting and dancing, but when we hear katha, Vishwaksena katha, then we sleep. Feel sleepy. We sleep. Or if then he is telling, or even you want chant and hear, but he cannot remember anything. That is bikkhep. Bikkhep means you are during chanting and hearing, you are thinking about so many, or talking with others, or so many things. Bikkhep. Chanting, but sometimes also talking to someone. Hare Krishna, then talking. In Bhagavatam class also, sitting in a class, but you are thinking so many things is going on in your mind. Class is going on, your mind is also going on. Laya, Bhikkhepa, Apratipatti. Even you are attentively hearing and chant, attentively trying to chant, attentively and hearing also, but still you are not able to remembering anything. You are trying your best because of some unearth still there from their previous life. You are not able to remember anything. So, then kasaya is telling, kasaya means when performing the devotional service, you become agitated, become angry, arrogant, and having some selfish motive. These things is called kasaya. When you performing devotional service, you express all these symptoms. Serving, but you become very angry sometimes during devotional service. So, kasaya, then he is telling finally, rasa swada. You are so much attached to material sense gratification that even if you are hearing and chanting, but your mind is somewhere in sense gratification. Sometimes maybe someone is leading kirtan and dancing very ecstatically, but if his mind is, he has sex desire, he has some love with some opposite sex, then maybe chanting, dancing, but his mind is there. Sometimes someone tell, oh, I want to lead kirtan today. Especially today I want to lead. Because a particular, he want to show how I am leading. That type of chanting no help. Sometimes that is rasa swada. It's like he is so much attached in getting some honey from the material sense gratification. Even externally he is performing chanting, dancing or hearing, sitting, but his mind is working somewhere. He is thinking of some other things. Rasa swada. So these are all the stumbling blocks in the path of anarthas. So we can give up anarthas by attentive hearing. First step, we must hear very attentively. Try our best to hear very attentively. From attentive hearing, then we develop other stages. Then we come to the perfectly kirtan. Then we can chant perfectly without interrupt attention, hearing, then chanting, then remembering Krishna. Then there is 5 stages. Prabhupada mentioned here 5 stages of remembrance. Smriti, Dharana, Dhyan, Anusmriti, Samadhi, like 5 stages, different stages. Then when we come to the Samadhi stage, then one will be able to know his what? Swarup. What is his constitutional position? What is his relation with Krishna? So there is no need to artificially to know all these things even when you are in your anarthas. And go to the Sahajiyas to know sometimes about your Swarup, then they are also in anarthas. So they will just speculate and tell you, with overnight they tell you, oh yes, this is your Swarup. This is all cheating process. That's why, though Prabhupada is telling, when we come to this spiritual body platform to that, to know about spiritual body, As stated in Narada Pancharatra, Hishikesa means the engaging the spiritual body and spiritual senses in the service of Lord. When we are engaged in such activities, the actions and reactions of the gross and subtle bodies cease. So when one comes to the platform of spiritual body, then automatically these two types of body will go. Which one? Material body and subtle, and gross body and subtle body. Above gross and subtle body, there is real body, is spiritual body. So that is our duty to know what is our position, what is our connection with Krishna. Particular connection. We have, every living entity has a specific relation with Krishna, in specific rasa and specific service. That will reveal when one come to this stage of samadhi. Okay? Hare Krishna. So any question? Time is over. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, you told that the Upadeshamrit verse you read, that when a particular devotee, he is advanced enough and under the guidance of his spiritual master or some advanced devotee, he can go to Vrindavan, he can engage in devotional service in the direction of the advanced devotees. But we see that there are many devotees in ISKCON right now. They have left ISKCON, and without the guidance of advanced devotees or spiritual master, they have gone to Radha Kund or Govardhan or wherever, and they are trying to engage in long chanting of Harinam and reading the Shastras and like that. So if they go without the guidance of the Guru, if they think that my Guru is not advanced, I am advanced more than my Guru, then what is?
So this is only cheating, because they are committing third offense of Nam Aparadh. So when one offender, how can he advance? Snam, disobeying the orders of spiritual master. This is third offense of Nam Aparadh. So one should very careful. This is also first offense in Dham Aparadh. Dham Aparadh, the first offense is to disobey the order of spiritual master, who reveals you Dham, or with whose grace you are in Dham. So if you disobey the order of spiritual master, then you commit both Dham Aparadh and also Nam Aparadh. So how can you progress?
What happens to such devotees who do like this?
Though they are followed, but why you want to see them what they are doing? Let them do. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, in Raganuga Bhakti, like when one decides to follow in the footsteps of one devotee in Vrindavan, so he also has an idea about his Swarupa, because otherwise how does he choose?
That is comes spontaneously. That is properly spontaneously, that is not artificial. When he free from anartha, where one become free from anarthas, then come to the stage of ruchi, he taste develop, then naturally he develop a taste in particular service, in particular rasa. So when that come, then he understand, automatically find someone in that rasa as ideal. He will to follow his footsteps. That does not mean that sadhaka wants to become, he can become a Jasoda or become Radha. They simply follow their footsteps. No one can become Lalita, Visakha, or Rupa Manjari or like this. They have to follow. He consider him as his leader. In that rasa, he likes that particular service, that particular associate is performing to Krishna. He appreciates that service. It's nice. He is very good. We will always glorify that devotee in Nitya Lila. That this particular Siddham or Subal or this particular Manjari, Rupa Manjari or Arti Manjari, this service is very nice. Then he will glorify to tell others, this service is so nice. So gradually he developed that rasa within. He also practice in that way. Okay? Yes.
Hari.
There are different stages like anartha nivritti, sadhu sang, bhajan kriya, anartha nivritti. So means how they are connected with like kanishta adhikari, madhyam adhikari, uttam adhikari. So how can we say
Anartha
that
actually anartha will remain up to last stage of prema. Unless we achieve his spiritual body, up to that you will have anarthas. That's why Vishnu Chakra Thakur says about Ekadasa Vartini, Bahudasa Vartini, Prayaki, Purna, and Atyantiki, Anartha Nivritti. He told in Bhajana Kriya, up to end of Bhajana Kriya, 25% of anarthas, they go. In age of Nishtha, 50% anarthas go. When 50% anarthas finish, then you can practice Ruchi, then you get taste. Then Raganuga Bhakti started from that stage. Even 50% anarthas. Then one gave up Purna, Ekadasa Bahudasa Vartini, and then he is telling 75% anarthas goes in Ruchi stage and develop. And finally, Purna anarthas, even in Bhava stage, even Purna, about 95% goes. Still there is 5% remain, unless you attain the last stage, Prema. Unless you know about your spiritual body, this last stage, there's still 5% anartha stage in Bhava stage also. So the anarthas, they gradually they goes with from sadhaka.
means like to how means they are connected with a person means who is a kanishta adhikari? How can we define that this is his stage till here is madhyam?
So that's why kanishta adhikari is to always work under guidance of a senior devotee. So his anarthas kanishta anarth he is in bhajana kriya. He is taken initiation and doing his bhajan. So about 25% anarthas he is after bhajan kriya, when he is end of bhajan kriya, then he is told that about ekadasa vartini, 25% is anarthas can be eradicated. But this is, we should not speculate ourselves. So our spiritual master will reveal. You can go to advanced devotee and ask. She can know what type, how much anarthas you still have. Because when it is our nature that we think we are very advanced. When we reveal our thinking ourselves, then we think something wrong. Our calculation will be wrong. Spiritual master knows about his disciples and how far he is advanced and how much anarthas he still have. Okay, yes.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, I have a confusion regarding the subtle body and the spiritual body. Do we take our subtle body to the spiritual world somehow or other?
No. Subtle body finish with this here. Subtle body with mind, mana buddhi ahankar, mind, intelligence and ego. This is subtle body. So this mind, intelligence and ego, they are connected with this material senses, sense objects. They are connected. Previous verse is telling. So these are finished with this material body.
But we use this to realize our spiritual body, right? I mean, we use our subtle body to understand mind and intelligence to get to know, you understand what I mean? To get to know somehow what the spiritual body is, using the intelligence and the mind to think, or maybe...
This subtle body business is to also think about self-gratification. But spiritual body's mind is to please Krishna. To serve, that's why Prabhupada is telling Rishikesa. When he is translating, Prabhupada is telling Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate, he is telling spiritual senses, and with our spiritual senses, we are serving Krishna with our spiritual senses. This you very attentively here the translation Prabhupada is giving, that Rishikena Uchyate. Devotional service means engaging the spiritual body and spiritual senses in service of the Lord. That is a real spiritual life. That is the devotional service. That's why he told, Ataha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahya indriyai. Sevan mukhahi jivadau swayang apaspurati adha. This is not in material platform. Devotional service is not in material platform. We may be doing some things, this looks like, but still the real devotional service starts with spiritual senses or spiritual body. Okay? Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, devotees. His Holiness Prabodhananda Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has got any comments or any feedback? We can share. Hope others can unmute now. Can somebody try?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Prabhu, is the spiritual body and astral body, they are same, is it?
Astral body. Yeah, I didn't hear. Spiritual body, understand. I didn't understand what's astral body.
Maharaj was telling them, Prabhu, normally we talk about two bodies, gross and subtle body.
Yeah.
And,
another one is said the spiritual body.
Spiritual body.
Yeah.
Some places they say astral body.
Yeah,
it is the same. I don't.
Sorry, I don't know that.
It's true.
Anyone?
One question, I think Maharaj in the last he mentioned about 5 obstacles.
Yes.
In removing one's anartha.
Yeah.
I think the first one he said inattentive hearing of Bhagavata Katha.
Laya.
Then second, sorry Prabhuji.
Laya.
Laya.
Yeah.
Second one inattentive kirtan, huh? When in kirtan being inattentive. Is that right, Prabhuji?
No.
We just want to note down 5 anartha.
Kirtan will be there, but still he will not attend the Bhagavatam class. The other places he will not be inattentive.
So what are the 5 anartha, 5 obstacles?
Just I don't know. Laya, Vikshapa, Apaksha, Kashaya, and Rasavada.
Laya. First one is Laya.
Vikshapa.
Okay.
Apaki said. Then Kashaya. Then Rasavada.
Kashaya and Rasavada.
Maybe exact pronunciation we can check. I just scribbled.
It's 4. Okay. Rasavada is having that tendency for material sense gratification, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'll listen again and check.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? If not, we'll end it here with Krishna Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyavacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namanam ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. His Holiness Prabodhananda Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'll end the meeting now. Hare Krishna.